Okay, let's dive in. When most of us think about marriage or, any long-term partnership, it often comes down to personal happiness, right?
Absolutely. Finding fulfillment, maybe that perfect soulmate, it's very focused on uh, what the individual gets out of it.
That makes sense. But the sources we're looking at today, excerpts from Marriage Through the Lens of Logotherapy, they offer a really different angle.
A really powerful one, I think. It uses Viktor Frankl's ideas, his search for meaning.
Right. Frankl, the psychiatrist who developed logotherapy after surviving the Holocaust, his whole thing was that our main drive isn't pleasure, it's meaning.
Exactly. And we usually hear that applied to, well, finding purpose individually, maybe through work or suffering.
But this deep dive is looking at how those same ideas apply specifically within a marriage or partnership. It's kind of surprising.
It is. So the mission here is to pull out those key insights for you. This isn't just theory. It's about finding things that might genuinely shift how you see your own relationship.
Moving beyond just, am I happy?
To something more like, what meaning are we building here together?
Okay, so Frankl's core idea, this basic human need to find meaning. That's what keeps us going, especially when things get tough.
Right. And here's the twist for marriage. Logotherapy suggests a truly meaningful partnership goes beyond just individual happiness.
So it's not just about whether I'm fulfilled.
Less about that and more about discovering a shared purpose. What's the meaning you two are creating or finding together?
Okay, that leads to something the source calls transcending the self, which sounds a bit intimidating maybe.
Yeah.
We often worry about losing ourselves in a relationship.
Yeah, that's a common fear. But Frankl's perspective flips that. It's not seen as losing yourself, but as a chance to actually expand your identity.
Expand. How so?
Well, by moving beyond just focusing on your needs and committing to the well-being of your partner and the relationship itself, you actually broaden who you are.
So it's not really sacrifice in the negative sense.
Not diminishment, no. It's framed as growth. Finding meaning through that outward focus, through connection and contribution to this shared thing you're building.
I see. And that connects to another key idea, responsibility in relationship. Frankl always emphasized our freedom to choose our attitude, right?
Always. Even when circumstances are terrible, you choose your response. That's the ultimate human freedom.
Which is huge in a marriage because you absolutely cannot control your partner or, prevent bad things from happening sometimes.
Exactly. You can't force someone to act a certain way. You can't stop illness or financial stress, maybe. But you always control your response.
Do you choose anger, blame?
Or do you consciously choose understanding, patience, trying to find a constructive way forward? That choice, especially when it's difficult, that's presented as real self-mastery.
And vital for the relationship.
Absolutely vital for its health, its resilience.
Okay, so these choices, this responsibility, it builds towards finding the why of your we.
Yeah, identifying that shared purpose. What are you actually about as a couple, beyond just sharing bills and a house?
It could be anything, right? Raising a family with certain values, supporting each other's dream.
Or just creating this deep space of mutual care and growth. But having some shared why, even if it's not explicitly stated all the time, acts like a North Star.
A guide.
Exactly. When challenges hit, and remembering that deeper purpose helps you navigate. It gives the struggle meaning.
Which brings us to adversity as achievement. That sounds counterintuitive too. Nobody wants adversity.
Of course not. But Frankl's point wasn't to seek suffering. It was that meaning can be found despite it, or even because of how we handle it.
So in a marriage, facing tough times together.
Like illness, job loss, conflict. These aren't just things to endure. They become, potentially, opportunities.
Opportunities to connect more deeply.
Yes. By supporting each other, seeing each other's strength, getting through it together, you build something incredibly profound. A shared history of resilience. That shared journey is the achievement, in a way.
Wow. Okay. So pulling this all together, logotherapy shifts the marriage lens from my happiness to our shared meaning.
Right. It highlights choosing your attitude, seeing the relationship as a way to expand yourself, not limit yourself.
And viewing challenges not just as problems, but as potential for deeper connection and, well, shared achievement.
Exactly. It encourages you, the listener, to think about the why in your own relationships. What meaning are you building? How are you choosing to respond when things get hard?
So let's leave you with this thought, building on the source. If finding meaning really is our deepest drive, how might consciously focusing on your shared purpose and facing challenges together as growth opportunities fundamentally change how you build and experience your relationship?